Welcome to my lair. You are watching TTBurger Game Reviews here on YouTube. And welcome back to the TTBurger Burger Wing Spook Fest. And I am Tony. Welcome back to my lair. You all behaving? If you behave, you get some candy for the trick-or-treaters. But if not, no candy for you guys. Looking at Halloween horror-themed games and more, survival horror, action horror, first-person shooter horror, and more. And today, we're gonna talk about the movie franchise called Alien. At the time, the Alien series was awesome. It was scary. It was amazing. You had 3 great films at the time, and all 3 of them equally great. At the time, there were a handful of games based on the Alien series. You had some good. You had some bad, depending on what console you had. And there were a handful of them that we know about, such as Alien Trilogy, Alien Resurrection, Alien Colonial Marines, Alien Isolation. The PlayStation had 2 games based on the franchise, both games based on the movies. 2 games to look at for this episode. Episode 297, part 1 of 2 parts. Inching very closer to that 300th episode. We have some very special plans for you all, so be on the lookout for that today. But today we have 2 games to look at here for this episode here for the TTBurger Burger Wing Spook Fest. Part 1, Alien Trilogy, and Part 2, Alien Resurrection. Now I know people want to hear my thoughts on Aliens, Colonial Marines, and Alien Isolation. I will review those another day. Today I just want to focus on the 2 Alien games released on the PlayStation, and we're going to talk about that right now. Starting off with Alien Trilogy on the PC, PlayStation, and Sega Saturn. Kudos to people who find this in a long box. It's definitely a worthy gem for sure. Released February 29th, 1996 on the PlayStation, then August 8th the same year on the Sega Saturn, then December 2nd, 1996 with MS-DOS. Looking at the PlayStation version, it's the main version of the game, it's the only version I have.
Ah yes, Alien Trilogy. A great set of movies, all 3 of them equally good no matter who you are or what you say is the best one. A lot of you people prefer Aliens out of the other 2, but for me, all 3 of them are equally good, and that's my honest opinion. Sure, we had Alien Resurrection. That one was okay, but compared to the first 3 were better. So, to put all 3 of these films together in one game, how does the result turn out? Usually for me, movie-based games are hit or miss for me. There have been a lot of bad ones, but there have also been a lot of good ones too. Where does Alien Trilogy stand as a game itself? Well, Alien Trilogy is a first-person shooter that plays similarly to Doom with the horror aspects in the dark, with objectives to complete and killing these Xenomorphs along the way to reach the end. Is it a memorable game with the Alien franchise license on it, or does it fall to the wayside as a game that should be avoided at all costs? The answer is yes. It is a good game. But compared to the other first-person shooters that was on the market at the time, it falls flat in some aspects. It is still worth owning, especially if you can find the game in the long box. So let's get started here, ladies and gentlemen. Alien Trilogy's plot is similar to the plot of the movies. You play as Lieutenant Ellen Ripley. As a Marine herself in the beginning, she travels to LV-426 to restore contact with the colony there. Then later, all the Marines are wiped out by the Xenomorphs, so then Ripley goes through the infested colony with the prison facility, then goes to the crashed Xenomorph ship and takes these Xenomorphs out to escape. The story is mainly told through occasional CGI cutscenes and mainly text-based mission briefings at the beginning of each mission that help you guide to the end. Alien Trilogy is a 2.5D first-person shooter that does take some time to get used to. Since this was based off the Doom engine, you're limited to what you can do. You cannot jump or aim your weapon. That worked fine in Doom, but here it takes a little bit of time to get used to. That's mainly because, since this is a semi-3D person shooter, and sometimes the Doom style controls tend to not work the best here. Yes, the controls, you can get used to them, but they will take time. Especially if you do not have the instruction manual to help you out. You will die a lot in the beginning, especially if you're not used to the style of first-person shooters. At times you'll be begging for a way to aim your gun or jump. Yes, you can strafe with the shoulder buttons, you can run with the shoulder buttons too, like the R2 button, but it would have been nice to be able to aim and jump. Another problem is the lack of ammo for your weapons. Your default pistol is pretty much useless because it takes forever to kill the enemies. Thankfully you can get a shotgun and like a flamethrower and other weapons you can use later on, which you'll be using the most. The problem is, you use them so much means you will run out of ammo very fast, and being stuck with the pistol against all those enemies makes you want to quit. Thankfully there are levels that allow you to fill up your ammo and health, but it's on a time limit. You need to be fast if you want the most ammo and health. And there is a balance issue in the difficulty. Depending on how good you are, so is you're too easy or too hard. The majority of the game is spent killing the enemies, which include the Xenomorphs and the Marines gone rogue. Other times will be spent looking for switches to open doors, turn on the lights to see in the levels, or just use batteries to find batteries to activate some of your switches too, which can be kind of tedious. The lighting can be dark at times, a little too dark, but it is okay. It gets the horror feel of the movies down pretty well. But if you're playing on a flat screen TV, it is almost impossible to see what you're doing, and you'll be dying a lot because of this. Alien Trilogy is a hard game, mainly due to the controls, and if you're not careful with defending yourself from being hurt, you will lose health. If that happens where you beat a level with not much health left, it carries to the next level, and it will not refill your health unless you find medkits. If this happens where you don't have a lot of health, you might as well restart the game, or reload a previous save file. I had to restart at the beginning numerous times, but you learn to be careful and not lose as much health as the time before. Like Doom, there are secrets throughout the levels that can be found by using the right item at the right time, which is exploring and finding secrets by pure luck. These secrets include weapons to find, health power-ups, and more. You also have powers like seismic charges to blow stuff up, and etc. You also have an armor too. You can find armor which can give you a few more hits from those Xenomorphs and bad guys. You have a good arsenal of weapons, mainly the pistol, the shotgun, the flamethrower, and more. Alien Trilogy has good graphics for a PlayStation launch title. The character models look good, especially the Xenomorphs, and if they die, it's funny seeing them collapse with the blood splatting everywhere. The environments look good, a little dark, but good. The gun models look okay, they're not the best, but they look passable. The CGI cutscenes are the best part, but there's only a handful of them. It would have been nice if there were more of these, but this is what we can get in the end, I guess. The frame rate is very smooth. Sure, there may be some slowdown at times, but this happens very rarely in the game. The problem with the graphics is while they look good, they have not aged well, especially with the lighting. The sound aspect is good, not the best though, it's a little worse than the presentation. There's really not much to say here. The voice acting is here, really not much. It's just basically the text with the mission briefings is what you get for like the story, and there's not really much voice acting. It's not the best, but it's here. The music is really good, with a combination of horror and action at the same time. The guns sound okay, heard better, but they sound okay. Just the sound really isn't much to say, and it's kind of the weaker aspect of Alien Trilogy. I already mentioned the gameplay aspect somewhat, but I need to talk about it more. I already mentioned the gist of Alien Trilogy and the problems I have with it, but I have some more things to say. There's no multiplayer at all. Not even a System Link multiplayer you can connect two PlayStations together. Doom had that, why doesn't this? Hell, Duke Nukem Total Meltdown had that too. Why doesn't this game have it? The campaign is only a few hours long. Sure, you hit most of the key parts of the movie, but it would have been nice if the game was longer. When you die, there's no checkpoint system or continue option. If you do not save your game after you beat a level, you have to start all over. It's also easy to get lost at times because of the maze-like levels that feel the same at times. There's also a map system, but it's useless unless you find a complete version of the map throughout the levels, and with just a partial version of the map, it can do more harm than good. It also doesn't help that you have to keep pausing to look at the map itself. Overall, a good game on the Alien franchise. It could have been better. But now let's go to our TTBurger pros and cons chart to give this game a score. For the TTBurger pros, you have a first-person shooter on the first 3 Alien films in one game. Definitely has a horror feel to it with the sound effects and music. Decent graphics for a PlayStation launch title. Lots of weapons and secrets that are found throughout the game. The game captures most of the key points of each movie. This is one of the early PlayStation games that comes in the long box. Xenomorphs look badass and scary at the same time. Fun-filled horror campaign with Xenomorphs and Marines. One game to play in the dark as well, if you like the horror feel and want something scary to play. And it makes people who never saw the movies want to see them now. For the TTBurger cons, the game is short, only a few hours long. No multiplayer at all. The sound is the weakest aspect. Weapons run out of ammo too fast. The pistol is very weak. The difficulty is all over the place. The maze-like levels make it easy to get lost. There is no checkpoint system or continue option after you die. So that's what I gotta say about Alien Trilogy. It's a good game, it could have been better, but you know, I still recommend it. There's also the Sega Saturn version, the PC versions. I don't know much about the Sega Saturn version. I heard it was kind of on par with the PlayStation version, but I heard the PC version was worse due to bad controls, glitches, freezing all the time. The PC version is considered the worst version of the bunch, so I do not recommend it. But if you happen to own the consoles, I can't say anything about the Saturn. I never owned a Sega Saturn, so I recommend the PlayStation version, but I heard both versions are the same. Not really much difference one there, so pick those both up and stay away from the PC version. Especially it came out a year later, back when, you know, the Alien Yin hype was already kind of dying down for the Alien Trilogy and everything, because Alien Resurrection was already on its way. So that's what I gotta say about Alien Trilogy for the PlayStation. So what's the score I give it here?
The score, I give Alien Trilogy 7.5 out of 10. A good game, not the best, but still a good game for sure with the alien name in the title. And that's it for episode 297 part 1 of 2. Stay tuned for the final part, taking a look at the Alien Resurrection game on the PlayStation, released exclusively for the PlayStation. How does that fare to Alien Trilogy? We know the movie was not as good as the trilogy of movies, but maybe the game is different. Well, find out in the next part. Tony, peace and out. Have a great day. Now get out of my lair. You must leave now until I come back. Take care, everybody.